Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, I'm looking at another product of my books that I produced while I'm learning Quran. And during learning Tajweed, which is the science of reciting Quran, how it's recited, the phonemes of the Quran and how are they developed, the scripture itself is written in such form, but to learn how to pronounce it correctly and the phonemes of the Quran itself, we usually study here in Jordan this book, which is called Al-Munir. Al-Munir fi Ahkam al-Tajweed. And in this book, it gives us as students the methods of reciting, and it's divided by chapters. And one of the chapters that we learned during our studies was called Mad Albadal. So Mad Albadal was type of changing the vowel, the a or u or e vowel, make them long or short or change according to the presence of a hamza. So if the hamza, one of the letters a, if it was present before the vowel, we make this vowel, we keep the vowel and keep it at extending a, u, e for around 2 letter distance. So we make it long by two vowels, similar to 2 vowels. So this is called Mad al-Badal. This was a bit tricky. This chapter was a bit tricky because once we were learning it, we had these examples of it. Okay, we have Mad al-Badal and Shabih bil-Badal. It's the Badal itself and something close to the Badal. So they are pronounced the same, but they are just different in names. So the book itself provides us with some examples, but once we were out of these examples, we were reading from the Quran. For example, our teacher was reciting and examining us. We had a problem if the example or the word was not inside this book. She would be a bit hesitating to say if it was a Mad Badal or not. She could not let's say, judge the word by herself. She always kept coming back to the reference. But what if the word was not written here? So this very specific small subject is called Mad al-Badal, had no examples other than those present here. There are around 20 words only, or a bit more, just 20 words. So if they were out of these words, okay, what will happen? What will happen actually, they will keep hesitating. So the idea was to gather all of the words that have Surah Mad al-Badal, that have Mad al-Badal in them, in one book. I began developing this book to gather all of the words in one place because it has some effect on how we recite these words specifically. I first gathered them using one of the most beautifully developed electronic programs. It's called برنامج إحصاء القرآن الذهبي. It was developed by Kahil, who is one of the scientists that worked on electronic applications serving the Quran. And I began searching for all words that have a hamza and a or u or e after it. So this is the methodology I'm using. And Dr. Abd Daim al-Kahil is the one who developed the al-Isdar al-Dhahabi of Barnamij Ihsa al-Quran Kareem. It's the statistics of the Quran and the words. They are put in an electronic format. So it allows me to search using al-Rasm al-Imla'i or Rasm al-Uthmani. So I could search different shapes of the hamza and different shapes of the vowels and then go through them. So I gathered them from there. And I kept checking them back with the original Mus'haf that we have. And I gathered them in the form of a schedule. So these are all the introduction telling how this was developed and telling the story of how these were developed. And then I put the words in, as you see, a table. And they are developed as a table for anybody to check. So this is the original jadr of the word, the origin of the word, and what is added to it and how it's changed, and how does it look inside the Quran. So you'll find all of the letters and how it's pronounced. and this is the pronunciation part. Now, this pronunciation was added by the kind advice of Dr. Ma'mun al-Shamali. Once more, he is one of the most known scholars of Irbid for Quran, and he is one of the authors, by the way, of the book here, Al-Munir. He advised me to add how the words are read inside the Quran or recited. So these are explanations of how the word is pronounced. So this is the book in its first edition. The second edition, we changed it a little bit, where we, not only we had added how it was recited, but also the word itself, we typed them in the typo font of the Mus'haf itself. So they are no longer printed. These are printed format. This one that I have has a printed format, but the one you have in your Google file, it's the one where we use the same font of the Quran itself, the scripture itself, the Mus'haf. So these words are now developed into the format of the Mus'haf itself, and you can read them and check if any example you're confused. Is this a Mad Badal? Come back here to this reference that gathers them all together. I think this is the only book in the world dealing with this, even from the our great scholars before. I could not find a book that gathers all Mad Albadal in one place, all of the examples of Mad Albadal. This is it here. I hope, inshallah, may Allah accept this work, and how I wish to develop it. Once more, I wish to develop it to have an application for this, which has the words in the Mad al-Badal and even the place of the words. Because when I wanted to print each word and where it's located in the Quran, it was hectic. I could not put that much information here in a printed format. So maybe in an application, we will have each word exactly where it's present and in which verse of the Quran is it present. I hope to find even an interactive application where we also could not only read the word how it's read, but actually hear it. So we have a part where we're hearing it, and we are working in a new team with, once more, Dr. Ma'mun al-Shamali, how to read the Mad al-Badal in other qira'at. We're using the qira'at of this Mus'haf, the famous Mus'haf of Hafs, Riwayat Hafs, but the Hamza of Mad al-Badal in other accents of the Quran, the original accents of the Quran, are sometimes pronounced a bit more different. So we're developing the third and fourth edition of the book with qira'at other than Hafs. So these are one of the things in action. This is in action. قراءات الأخرى. It's called سورة مد البدل في كلمات القرآن الكريم في القراءات القرآنية. So this is the next product, and see you in another video.